And I'm really tired. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I just got these bad boys in the mail yesterday. I've only put them on to make sure they fit. Haven't actually worn them to run yet, but they're my new race day shoes. The Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. Expensive shoes meant really for racing, but I still need to break them in. And I'm gonna wear them for the first time tomorrow on the 60-minute run following the 120-mile bike. All right, let's go plan my bike route for tomorrow. 120 miles. So there is a lot of prep that goes into long rides. Now, the most important thing for long rides when it comes to route planning is just familiarity with your area. I've ridden around the Dallas-Fort Worth area long enough to know really what roads are good and which ones are sketchy to ride on. I try to start my rides early, you know, when there's less cars on the road and everything. But since I have a 120-mile ride tomorrow, you know, I'm probably going to be on the road for 8 hours. And yeah, the first few hours might be pretty empty, but you know, towards the end of the ride, it's going to be closer to noon and a lot more cars on the road. So that can only get you so far. But I use the Strava global heat map here, and I try to pick routes and roads that are either white or yellow. You can see them color-coded, and white and yellow are usually pretty good for the most part. But the roads that are orange or red, you want to avoid those. They're orange and red for a reason, and some of my worst experiences out riding on the roads have been on orange and red roads. So I try to avoid them. We're going to go northeast and northbound to start because the wind's going to be blowing out of the north tomorrow, so I like to get that out of the way early. And also another thing, since I'm going to start so early around 4 a.m., I'm actually going to do the first part of the ride through like suburban and more residential areas that are going to be better lit. Because if you watch my 100-mile video, I was riding in rural areas when it's still dark. I couldn't see anything. So hopefully better lighting at first, and then by the time the sun comes up and I'm out in the more rural areas towards the end of the ride, I'll be able to see. Pretty flat for the first half, but there's a couple big climbs towards the end. What I do is I take this route and I divide it up here into segments. So I have 34 segments tomorrow, and so I determine what the distance is, elevation gain, grade, ascent and descent direction, where it starts and ends, and some comments, and I put that all on my bike computer so I know what I'm going to get myself into on the ride. And then I set my power targets for every segment. Like I said, long rides, especially on an Ironman race, are all about pacing, and you want to pace yourself properly. So by dividing it up into segments, I can set power targets for those segments to ensure I don't overbike, but also don't underbike either. So I hit all these power minimums and power maximums, so a target range for every segment, with the idea being I'm pretty conservative at the beginning, and then I pick it up in the second half. That's how you want to race an Ironman too. You want your effort to be low for the first half and pick it up in the second half. A lot of people go out too fast in their Ironman bike. I was no different on my first one. Even though I had power targets and everything, with my bike chain braking, I tried to make up for lost time, and I bonked. So you want to go smooth and steady on the first half, and then pick it up in the second half, and you'll be passing all those people who went out too hard and then start bonking in the second half. You got to keep your ego at the door. But I have all that, and so this is kind of what the power looks like. So you can see how it ascends throughout the ride. So I'm pretty conservative at first, and then it slowly gains. And so hopefully I'll have enough in the tank at the end to push some watts. And also you want to save your legs for the run as well. I'm going to have an hour run after this bike. So I take all these segments and everything, and I plug it into Garmin as a workout. And I just did that before this video. Where is it? Damn it. Did I forget to save it? Dang it. It took me like 45 minutes to make that custom workout. Damn it. All right. About 30 minutes later, I had to put in the workout again on my Garmin. So I load all those segments into a custom workout on my Garmin. And so I know exactly what to do on my ride, how to pace it, and it also tells me what's upcoming. So for example, for this segment right here, the target power is between 189 and 210 watts. I have it at 2.31 miles. It's southbound. It has 150 feet of elevation gain, which is a plus 1.23% grade. It has 177 feet of climbing and minus 26 of drops. and it starts at 673 feet of elevation and ends at 823. And then I give a little quick description of the segment. I call it the Silver Creek Dash. There's a quick climb to start, and then a quick descent, and then a steep climb all the way up to 823 feet. And then finally, I put when to end the segment. So I ended on Silver Creek Azle Road, past Florence Drive on the left. So I do this so I know exactly what the route will entail, what's upcoming, how to mentally prepare, how to pace, and everything else, because like I've been saying all along, the Ironman bike is all about pacing. I do this on race day as well. So there's a lot that goes into a long ride. You want to make sure all your devices are charged. You want to make sure all your bottles are filled. There's a lot of prep. Also got to make sure you got enough nutrition in here. Twizzlers are one of my snacks of choice on the bike. So I bring a backpack with me. I usually don't put the hydration vest unless it's really hot in there, which I won't tomorrow, but I usually put a bike lock and a battery charger. Yeah, I like to do this all the night before so I can just wake up and get after it, especially since I'm going to go to bed so early and wake up so early. It's best to not just be fumbling around in the morning. I also got all the clothes I'm going to wear tomorrow set out. What was that? It was my bag falling off the table. Whoops. But anyway, I got all the clothes I plan on wearing tomorrow set out, so I'm not fumbling around looking for them. Not the best timing to be dealing with the lower leg injury. Pretty much the same thing that happened to me last August when I was in Las Vegas when I was taping up the same knee. About 8 miles into my 20-mile run this past Sunday, my lower quad just started killing me, and I had to cut the run short at about 13 miles. Took a few days off. It felt about 80% yesterday on my run, so hopefully for my run tomorrow, it will be all better. Anyway, I think I'm all prepared for tomorrow. It is about 6:30. I'm going to go to bed very early, wake up very early. Until tomorrow. Yep, I did not sleep 1 second. Not 1 second. A whole shot of ZZ Quill and 30 grams of melatonin was not enough. I just laid there for 8 hours. It is 4:09 a.m. Let's get this show on the road. Crap. And this sucks. I'm about 30 miles in, about a quarter of the way, and this road's close. I'm trying to go around it. I don't know if you can see it, but I just stepped in a huge puddle, so my right foot is soaked, and it's going to be soaked the rest of the ride. Sucks. I am tired of all these roads being closed under construction. It's so annoying. So annoying. I don't care if it's closed, I'm going through it. I'm tired of this construction ruining my route. I really hope this is the last road that I have to detour because of construction, but I doubt it. I'm a little over halfway done. My legs are cooked. I'm worried about my right knee, the one I have taped up. I thought it was all good yesterday, and then yesterday all I did was swim and I didn't feel a thing, so I thought it was healed. Definitely not. I'm worried about the power meter on my bike. I replaced the battery on Friday, and usually I'll turn on my bike computer when I'm on my trainer, and the power on my bike computer has been about 30 watts lower than what it was on the trainer all this last week. And I think that's continuing today because I'm having a hard time even hitting the lower ends of my power targets. And the first half was supposed to be easy, but it hasn't been. Like, my heart rate should not be in the upper 140s and lower 150s when I'm pushing 130 watts. That's my recovery wattage on my trainer. Like, my heart rate on the trainer when I'm pushing 135 watts is like 115. I still have about 58 miles to go. I'm really worried about the run, but I got to get done with the bike first before I worry about that. These roads suck. Man, this is just garbage, man. All these unpaved roads. So much for Strava heat maps. I am gassed. I still have about 28 miles to go, but I am gassed. I really think I screwed up the pacing in the first half, that it was supposed to be easy because, like I was talking about with my power meter, and I don't have a lot left in the tank, but I gotta finish, you know, I gotta get home, so. Ran out of water. First time I've done that this Ironman training cycle. It's been too cold to run out of water, but I did today, so. I'm at about 97 miles, so about 23 to go. And I got a sketchy looking road coming up that I'm not very thrilled about. Man, F this. Bad idea to save the toughest climbs for the end. 10% grade. This is like Red Rock Canyon in Las Vegas. Gah. Bah. And I'm really tired. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Strava heat maps, you suck today. And that's a wrap. That was not fun. That was not fun. 2 weeks ago, I did a 112-mile ride, and I enjoyed every second of it. But that's because I did a familiar route. It didn't even have half of the elevation gain I did today, which was like 4,500. I think on the 112 ride, it was like 1,800. But that jacket, I mean, it was in the 60s when I started, and I think I was just overheating. Because once I took that jacket off, my heart rate never went above 150 again for the rest of the ride. And it was like over 150 for pretty much the first 70 miles. So overheating sapped a lot of my energy at the beginning. I actually finished really strong. I felt a lot better at the end than the beginning. So that jacket was definitely a culprit. And I didn't take it off till like mile 92. Gotta go run. Excited to wear these new shoes for the first time, but I don't know how much use I'll get out of them because my legs are pretty dead and I'm not going to be able to turn my legs over very fast, but time to see how these bad boys run. It's windy as hell, and I can't tell how these shoes are because my legs are so dead and heavy, I just don't know. About 2.7 miles in, my feet hurt. These definitely need more breaking in. Whew, that's a wrap. I'm nauseated like I was after Ironman Waco. We'll see how much of this Wingstop I can eat before my stomach says no mas. You know, after Ironman Waco, I didn't even eat my big post-race meal until the next day. On the way back from Waco, we stopped at Whataburger and I just got one sandwich. I was so nauseated and I ate like 2 bites. And then after that, I was like, we need to stop at a gas station so I can get some Pepto-Bismol. I pretty much had to abandon my fueling strategy on the bike because all my Twizzlers were hard as a rock. I'm guessing the cold froze them. You know, I'm pretty impressed that my run was faster than that run I did after the 100-mile bike, the 10-mile run. Although it wasn't as hot. On the flip side, the bike was so much harder. That was the hardest bike ride I've ever done. I mean, 4,500 feet of gain and 121 miles. That 10-mile run I did a few weeks ago after the 100-mile bike, that bike was easy. I had no trouble at all. No trouble at all. It's also pretty impressive that I did that on no sleep. That was the final boss bike workout. 3 weeks out to Ironman Texas. I had comfort knowing that it won't be near that hard on Ironman day because the bike is flat and it's not 121 miles. I don't even think there's 1,000 feet of elevation gain for the whole course. But I'm pretty pleased.